Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Sawalha-Adderleys. Welcome to this unusual live on a Sunday to essentially to celebrate and to mark and to publicize and to comment on, and for us all to relish and demonstrate our appreciation to the crews of all the ships setting sail in the GAZA flotilla, the incredibly brave global Saddam, is it Saddam? I can never get the pronunciation correct. The Global Sumud Flotilla, Global Sumud Flotilla. It's just amazing. It's just, there's been so much footage filmed today, so much happening on social media, and I wanted to take an opportunity for those of you who don't often get a chance to see this stuff, or maybe the algorithm doesn't push it your way, to show you some of the clips, to talk with you about the dangers potentially that they are going to encounter, to talk about how the very fact, I've got a clip from someone at the actual launch in Barcelona, the very fact that they're having to do this demonstrates such an enormous failure of governments and Western governments, the Western media, in being able to enact any kind of change or response from Israel. There's Nadia in the room. Hi there, you're here. Please share and subscribe. This is so important. Please share, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell. We are going to be following the Gaza Sumud flotilla's progress. And, you know, I mean, obviously, they're going to be at sea for a couple of weeks. They anticipate. Hi, Dina. Hi, Sarah. Do follow Purely Palestine. Do follow Dina Sawalha. Do follow Nadia Sawalha, obviously. Do subscribe and follow this channel. We are going to be following the process. I mean, they say that they're going to reach there by mid-September. A bunch of boats, ships have set off from Barcelona, more are heading off from Tunisia. I'm going to show you some clips now of, you know, some of the amazing crowds that came to bid them farewell. I know that we were hoping to be there, but have been unable to make it. But we're there in spirit, and the best you can do is, if you can't be on a ship and if you can't be in Barcelona, spread the word on social media. It's highly effective and it reaches all the parts that Israel would wish it didn't reach. There are so many activists involved. There are countless ships. There's countless countries involved. If you're looking for updates and if you want to be across their progress, please go to the website. Their website is globalsumudflotilla.org. And if you go there, you can see how you can help. They have photographic media assets that you can share, but also obviously go to them on Instagram, where already today there are countless kind of uploads and interviews, some of which we've got here that we're going to play for you. So yeah, and I mean, you know, for anyone who's followed this channel, you'll know that we have picked up the story on the last, on the Madeleine and the one before that, or the one after that. You know, the last two attempts have been, you know, thwarted. And if I have any concern, and this isn't a concern that means you don't do it, but what is concerning about this, and you'll probably see from the title of this, Gaza flotilla sets sail to break siege as Gvir, the rabid pug. He looks like a pug, you know, pugs as in dogs, which incidentally, pugs forever piss themselves. So they're probably even more accurate likeness. So that sort of rabid, ferocious pug that is Gvir, the security minister, you know, the rabid kind of extreme settler terrorist, considered too extreme for even the IDF to recruit him. I mean, and he's in government. He's too extreme, goes on dates. He takes his, or took his then girlfriend, wife to be, on dates when he was younger to the graves of mass murderers. You know, rancid man, absolutely. Thank you, Edward Bevington. But also in the title here, Gvir vows to punish Greta Thunberg with terror prison. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Pug is too kind. It's just those eyes that look like they want to hit. you know, the thing is, Ben Gvir, the thing I feel for him, I feel for his eyes. Because what I think is going on in his face is his eyes want to escape his hideous brain and his hideous heart. His eyes actually are trying to do a runner from just how utterly malevolent and evil he is. And just to sort of demonstrate, well, we'll get to that in a moment. Let's have the celebratory. Let's have the positive, and then we'll talk about the negative. But the genuine fear is that given the size of this flotilla, and given that Israel has demonstrated zero compassion for anyone or anything, and when they're told what to do, they go and do completely the opposite, and given that we have no one of any efficacy or meaning or worth within the British government or American government, and even the European Union is fucking useless. Our job, your job, and everyone's job with a social media presence or a mouth is to not let this be ignored. And interestingly, the mainstream media in this country ignored the last two right up until the last minute. But the Daily Telegraph today hasn't ignored it, but they haven't ignored it for all the wrong reasons. So let's just first of all show some footage. I'm going to show some footage from the launch, from all of the boats setting up. Huge crowd in Barcelona. Huge crowd. I'm just going to show you a sort of combo of various clips here. Huge crowds, huge crowds. There's Greg, there's the lovely Greg Stoker, a sort of activist hero, Greg Stoker. There we go, look at the crowd, solidarity. So many people. Amazing atmosphere. Is that someone at the door?
Brother.
Oh.
Godspeed.
This is Miss Anne Harriman.
Look after yourself.
Take care, brother.
Bidding farewell various members of the crew. Crew for humanity exactly as the love. Just to see quite how many, just how many people there are behind this. This is exactly what we need. There's them all heading off to their boats. Incredibly brave. Amazing to watch. And some other footage coming in. I think that was the first boat to actually leave Barcelona. And interestingly, I mean, the thing about it as well is we've got to be realistic. They all know, every single member of every single boat, and you know, every I think is it 100? Is it 44 nations, or I think are represented. We know, they know that they're not going to get there, and you know, the hope is that if there's enough of them, and if we can galvanize enough of the press and make it awkward enough for as many governments as possible, that something different might happen given the size and scope of this flotilla. As I was just indicating, the flip side of that is it could mean, and this is something we really have to bear in mind, it could mean that they take a much more, the IDF take a much more hostile approach to essentially boarding and stopping them. And when there was the case, I think it was in 2010, was it, when the boat that went left from Turkey with humanitarian activists on it, and I think a total of 10, 12 people were killed on that boat. Some of them summarily executed at point blank, no inquiry, no investigation. The danger and the problem when you have that many more people is that there are many more opportunities for you to have rogue soldiers who provoke things, but there's also much more possibility that within the peacekeeping humanitarians that are on the boats, that one or someone could be pushed further than perhaps someone else could be. And so my worry, if I've got a real concern, is that them all managing to absolutely, for their own safety, keep their cool and allow whatever the IDF eventually do to do. The point is that some, the Telegraph, the Mail, all these fucking stupid, moronic, right-wing fascist rags that are our mainstream media, they always want to say, well, what's the point? What's the, Piers Morgan even, what's the point? It's ego, it's narcissism, they're the selfie generation. It's this coming from a legacy media that's run by narcissists, for narcissists, and that actively promotes the politics of narcissists is pretty rich. It's pretty rich. I mean, check this headline out just for starters. This is, look at the Telegraph. Stephen Pollard. Greta Thunberg's narcissism knows no bounds. If you drew a Venn diagram of Palestine eco and trans activists, it would look like an eclipse of the sun. What the fuck is their problem with? Talk about demonstrating how threatened you are by a young, politically motivated woman. I think the only reason they must have such an inability to kind of not be enraged by her is that she isn't corrupt and she isn't performative, and it's real. I think what happens with people like Piers Morgan, all the mainstream media with Greta Thunberg is they can't believe that someone is actually that wholesomely committed to the campaign she's committed to, because they're not. Because all those people who criticize her are only interested in a fast buck, numbers, profile, being the kind of big I am, getting the exclusive interview and all that bollocks. So I can only believe that's the reason she really gets under the skin of gammons, white middle-class men like me. She must get under their skin. She doesn't get under mine, but that must be why she gets under their skin. They can't deal with it. The Telegraph calling someone else, a young woman, a narcissist. Have you seen the Telegraph? This is the only time. Look, I'm going to now show you a headline, which is the only time the Telegraph has actually front-paged anything to do with the flotilla. Israel hatches plan to throw Greta Thunberg in terror cell. So they're actually promoting a headline, writing a headline, and the story runs like this is just what's happening. Not like this is wrong. Not like this is actually Israel saying they're sanctioning torture, in a sense. So this is the story, and we've gone there because these are the concerns I've got given the size of this flotilla. It doesn't mean they shouldn't go at all, but this is just to speak to the bravery. And interestingly, this article that's written in the Telegraph, Israel hatches, let me just pop the headline back up. Israel hatches plan to throw Greta Thunberg in terror cell. Isn't that interesting? I've just noticed. Is written by Yotam Confino in Tel Aviv. So we obviously have an Israeli journalist here on this. Israeli ministers are drawing up plans to detain Greta Thunberg in terrorist-level conditions. This is what they've said. No concept at all of what altruism is. They're threatened by it. People split into two camps. You either marvel at someone's ability to be empathetic and generous and kind, or you can, because you're so incapable of being it yourself, you have to be suspicious of it. And therefore you have to denigrate it and criticize it and pull it down. People fall into those two camps. You either marvel at it and aspire to it and try to get there and maybe succeed, or you have to denigrate, knock and muddy it and call it something that it isn't. We know so many people in our lives who are poisoned and poisonous because they can't begin to even comprehend that people can be kind. That's the problem here. So Israel hatches plan to throw Greta Thunberg in terror cell. And as it says here, Gvir, with those eyes on stalks, they're drawing up plans to detain her in, and it says here, quote, terrorist level conditions. They've declared this. Now, someone tomorrow needs to get a fucking microphone and a camera in front of David Lammy and Keir Starmer and say, don't ask about some stupid fucking car factory where they're all wearing yellow helmets and standing behind them looking like fucking idiots. They need to say to them, what do you make of Ben Gvir's statement and the fact that the Israeli government have actually called a meeting today, this evening, about putting Greta Thunberg in terrorist prison-like conditions? And I just want an answer. No one asks any questions. You won't get an answer, but I want the awkwardness of them not being able to answer. I want to see them have to make mistakes and try and get themselves out of this shit. It makes me so mad. Oh. Itamar Ben-Gvir, Israel's national security minister, is planning to present to Netanyahu today a plan to detain the activists in harsh terrorist-level conditions in the Kutziot or Damon detention centers for females, according to Israel Hayom, one of Israel's biggest newspapers. They plan to seize all of the vessels and then use them to establish a maritime force for police operation. I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? Can you believe? They're weird, aren't they? The settler mentality is weird. The Zionist mentality is so weird. It's clearly all about having other people's stuff. This is why when the Telegraph calls Greta Thunberg a narcissist, and you've got a country defined by Zionist narcissism, it's quite astonishing. It's quite astonishing. Because what seems to be, so one of the things is they want to throw Greta Thunberg and all of them into horrible prisons where they'll probably be attacked, abused. God only knows what's going to happen in them. But they're telling us this, like everything. They tell us. It's not like it's secret. It's not like you could go to David Lammy and Keir Starmer and say, "Oh, we've heard," and they go, "Well, where did you get that from?" And you go, "Well, maybe." And they go, "Oh, is it debatable?" No, we have a primary source from Ben Gvir himself. But they also they're actually telegraphing to the world, we're going to take all of the boats and we're going to create a maritime police force with these boats. Because, hey, you're not really a settler, are you? Or a Zionist? And I'm beginning to wonder whether, given the huge numbers of the Israeli population that agree with this policy, it strikes me that unless you're nicking other people's gear and clobber and homes, carrying fridges on your back, it's not worth having. So they're actually going to nick all the boats and turn them into a maritime police force. Build your own fucking boats with all the fucking money that you've been sent, you tight asses. I've never known a tighter fucking government. Staggering. And interestingly, that's coupled with putting her in a terror torture dungeon equivalent, because it's so important to these Zionist settler types, ownership of stuff that's not theirs. It's a critical component, isn't it, of the whole thing. Astonishing. You couldn't make this stuff up. And I've actually got the original story here. Yeah, here we go. So this is Israel Hayom, the Israeli paper. I'm looking at the headline here. Let me find the actual headline from their paper. Here we go. Greta Thunberg to be imprisoned. Ben Gvir's plan for Gaza flotilla. These individuals anticipated to come from 44 nations, embarking from Barcelona, Sicily, Greece, and Tunisia. Ben Gvir wants to put them all on. So here we go. On Sunday, today, a restricted meeting has either occurred or is occurring at the Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence with security personnel concerning the operational strategy that Israel will employ against the over 200 activists heading their way. Couldn't make this shit up, could you? You could not make this shit up. It's like, let me just, if you're wondering who Ben Gvir is, he's the one on the right. Satan is the one on the left. Let's have a listen to Yasmin, who was one of the crew members of one of the earlier flotillas. Here she is, just at the launch.
So we're taking off anything that's valuable, everything that's valuable, because we're not going to give anything to the Zionist entity. Okay. And also my engagement ring. I'm going to take it off for now.
Yes.
I'm going to take it off with love.
Oh.
And we're not giving anything to the Zionist entity. I'm giving it to the hands of my love.
Fuck me, it takes one to know one. She's very wise. Nadia, never get on any of these flotilla boats with your phone hanging out your back pocket, love, because they'll have it. I mean, where is the Zionist state self-respect? That's the bit I want to ask. Fuck all this, let's all pussyfoot round the edges and, oh, I'm worried. Look, it's a given. Amongst anyone who's got a fucking heart and a fucking head, nothing we're saying is anti-Semitic. It's the Israeli government state Zionist policy of oppression. Where's their self-respect? Where's their self-respect? Did anyone last week see the footage of a bank in Ramallah where they were just basically counting all the money? It was called Hamas money. Who's going to fucking... Where's the fucking digital receipts to prove it or not prove it? Because it's Hamas money. Oh, it's Hamas money, but it's good enough money to keep. It's good enough money to keep and use. Good enough boats to use. Anything loose on these boats, they'll have. Let's have a listen to Liam Cunningham, actor from Game of Thrones, one of the leading lights in the activist movement. Let's have a listen to him.
There's a battle for the soul of the world, seen through the prism of the Palestinian struggle. I'm also Irish, and we have suffered from occupation. We fought against it for 800 years. So if any of your viewers are wondering what the hell would a small island on the edge of Europe, which next stop New York, to have to do with the Middle East, one of the reasons is that the people who are oppressing us, the British occupation forces, one has to remember that those troops, the black and tans that we had to put up with, this terror group of paramilitaries, when they were taken out of Ireland, when we gained our independence, they were moved directly to Palestine and used the same methods on the Palestinian people that they were using on the Irish. So to question the Irish sympathy for the plight of the Palestinian people is it's a no-brainer that we're going to be sympathetic.
The Irish know. The Irish know. I can see Zoe. I can see some. We have so many. I love it when we go to the countries of our list of our audiences. Obviously, the UK is the biggest. America is pretty big. Ireland is massive. I think Ireland is always our third largest. And so, the Irish know. Let me just at this point just remind you: do hit the subscribe button. Do hit the notification bell. Do stick with us. We will be. It won't necessarily be daily. We do pretty much daily update on what is happening in Gaza. The attacks, the assaults have intensified. It's interesting. I was just saying to Nadia on the phone a minute ago, it seems coincidental or not coincidental that, whilst all of our politicians are on holiday, the Gaza City attack has started. No comment still from Lammy and Starmer on the double tap, triple tap, quadruple tap attack on Nasser Hospital. Just shocking, just absolutely shocking. I'm now going to show you, this is an interview or a chat. Tiago Avila, do you remember the Brazilian guy from the, I think it was the last, they blur together, the last flotilla, I think the Madeleine. He's just being grabbed for a quick soundbite in light of and in lieu of the threat from Ben Gvir and Netanyahu, etc., of throwing Greta Thunberg and all of the activists into deep, horrible terrorist, he's using the word terrorist prisons. What he must mean is torture. The guy is obsessed. The guy is prurient in the extreme, Ben Gvir, isn't he? He's obviously got a major issue. Here's a moment with Tiago Avila.
Out of Israel from Ben Gvir that they're looking at long-term detention for those that are on this trip. How are you feeling about that?
They need to understand that they cannot stop us through violence. What happens whenever they attack, whenever they kidnap, whenever they intercept, we come back stronger. Because people knows when they attack a humanitarian, non-violent mission that's trying to take aid and food to children that they're starving to death, the whole world understands who they really are. So we are not afraid. The history of anti-colonial struggle, the history of non-violent actions like ours, they show that the most violence they apply, the worse it is for them. Because then the world understands their true reason, their true purpose. So we do not fear, like all the other regimes, like the apartheid in South Africa, like Nazism, like fascism. They think they're invincible until they fall. And we see that they are too weak. A regime that needs to starve children to death to remain standing will not last. So we do not fear them. When they arrest me, when they put me in solitary confinement 2 months ago, they were saying, you're banned to come back here for 100 years. And I said, look, your state does not even have 100 years. I'm sure we'll go back very soon for a free Palestine. So we're not stopping. Nothing they can say will stop us from doing what is right. We are doing what is right, what is humane, and what is legal according to international law. So they can threaten people to commit a war crime. They can threaten people to commit another violation of many like they commit. But that will not stop us, because it's the destiny of all people to be free. It's the duty of international solidarity to show the solidarity in concrete actions, and we do not fear them.
Thank you so much.
Wow. What a dude, man. I've got the biggest man crush on that guy. Show that to fucking get Keir Starmer in a fucking cupboard, sit him down and make him watch that, and then say, what do you think? What do you think? Are you as brave as him? Do you agree with anything he says? Claire Cummins, I love what you've said there. Mark, I'd sometimes love for you to come to Ireland and hear the Irish take on Gaza. It's so rare to hear people who are not supportive of the Palestinians. I bet. I get it. I get out. Yeah, Patman 67, absolutely. Big shout out to the new documentary film, Hida Rajab. It's Huda Rajab. Is it Hida Rajab? It's to be premiered at the Venice Film Festival soon. It's the poor girl who was shot, riddled with bullets in the car. There's been art installations and Hind Rajab. Yeah, it'll be premiere at the Venice Film Festival. Joaquin Phoenix, Brad Pitt are all executive producers on it. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. We have posted on that. Let's hear from Greta, the woman who infuriates, upsets, and distresses absolutely everyone, just because she just doesn't budge.
And unprecedented about this mission is the scale and the nature of it, where we are mobilizing people from literally all over the world, and we are sailing with dozens of boats, coming back even stronger, because last time we were intercepted and detained, we were saying already back then that we will be coming back, and take that as a promise. We are bringing food, baby formula and other medical and sanitary products that are needed to sustain everyday life. But the real question is, why is this needed? Why do we need to bring these things? Why is Israel blocking humanitarian aid from coming in? And most importantly, why are they depriving Palestinians the rights and possibilities to produce their own food, for example? This is a very clear, a textbook example of oppression, occupation.
Imagine needing to pull her down for so-called narcissism when you haven't, as a publication, even mentioned Benjamin Netanyahu and the neo-Nazi fascists that are in his government. It seems curious, doesn't it? That you would feel happy. You would feel happy writing Stephen Pollard. Stephen Pollard probably lives in Dulwich. Greta Thunberg's narcissism knows no bounds. I'm sure you're a bit of a wanker at dinner parties. I bet you go on a bit, Stephen Pollard. A lot of journalists do. Legacy journalists do. Don't. It's just so odd that you would pull down a young woman, but not in any way or any shape or form as a publication hold any of those horrendous narcissists running Israel or America or this country to account. Quite remarkable. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But I bet I've got a real feeling Stephen Pollard is a right bore at a dinner party. This clip Nadia sent to me just prior to coming on live. This is Mo Hamza, a leading light, a huge figure in the activist movement. And, well, why should I ruin what he's got to say? This is just an incredibly moving, incredibly emotional piece to camera.
My name is Muad Hamza, and some of you may know me as Mo Hams. It is with overwhelming range of emotions that I have an announcement I'd like to share with you all that is deeply personal to me. Like many of you whom have been tirelessly fighting in every way possible, losing your minds at the inaction of our leaders as we watch Palestinians, predominantly children, dying every hour of every day, I've been wanting nothing more than to just go to Gaza to do whatever I can on the ground to help break Israel's siege. And the flotillas would be that perfect opportunity to do so. But out of respect for my family, who refused to allow me to go for very obvious reasons, the main one being that the IOF would want nothing more than to use me as a trophy capture to do whatever they please to me as a Palestinian American, I have decided to hang back with my family. But something beautiful, yet scary, emerged out of this decision, which is the announcement that I'd like to make to you all. My father, my Baba, Faiz Hamza, has stepped up to represent our family amongst the United States delegation of the global flotillas, sailing out of Tunisia. I can't really put into words how much this decision means to me and my family. We are scared, we are anxious, we are sad, but most of all, we are filled with immense pride. I cannot be any more proud of my father than I am today. And he, along with my incredible mother, are a testament to who I am today. Trust me when I say that we have asked him on numerous occasions if he is absolutely sure about this, and he enthusiastically and emphatically looks us all in the eyes every single time and says, I have never been more sure of anything in my entire life. And that says a lot because my father has lived the most honorable and prestigious life, as he has always been my personal hero. My father's ancestry hails from the beautiful village of Ain Kad in Palestine, which is just outside Al-Quds, or Jerusalem, which I had the pleasure of visiting and seeing with my own eyes in September of 2023. And to say that it was an out-of-body experience is a complete understatement. My great-grandparents and grandparents were kicked out of their homeland in the Nakba of 1948 and were displaced as refugees to Jordan, where my father was born and raised. My father grew up to become the top medical student in all of Jordan, to the point where one of the top medical institutions on our planet, the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, took notice of him and offered my father a job in the United States. As a result, my mother and father immigrated to the US, specifically Baltimore, Maryland, in 1984, where my father completed his studies and achieved one of the rarest titles on the planet, an MD and PhD, a double doctor. He went on to become an award-winning, published, acclaimed, and revered full-time faculty member and adjunct professor at Johns Hopkins. My father quite literally was a significant contributor to various medicines and discoveries that saved patients' lives. Baba has since become an American citizen and is now retired, and has been the best father to 3 children, myself, my sister Diala, and my brother Malak, and the best grandfather to my nieces Talia and Liliana, and my children Zain and Fairuz. Ever since I could remember, my father beamed with pride as an outspoken Palestinian, always advocating for our people. And when I say my passion and drive comes from him, I do not say that lightly. And his decision to join the amazing and brave global flotilla crew members is a testament to the man he is. All I ask of you all is to please follow my father's Instagram page. I would be posting on his behalf on my account, but I know Meta will be taking my page down any day now. Baba is not a social media guy in the slightest, so I will be helping to amplify him and his journey along the way, and I ask that you all please help me amplify him and the flotilla mission. As a Palestinian American, my father naturally carries extra risk and danger, and I need as much attention as possible to be on him and the flotillas for his safety and the safety of all others. So please, I beg you as his eldest son to help me here, because it's not just skin I have in the game now. It's my own flesh and blood. And I'll leave you with this. which is the most heart-wrenching thing my father said to us as his children that puts all of this into perspective. He said, and I quote, "I have lived a full life knowing I raised incredible children that will raise incredible children. And I'm going on this trip knowing anything can happen to me. And if anything does happen to me, I know that it happened on my own terms, fighting for our people." So Baba, I wish you the safest trip. We all love you so much. We are so proud of you. And this goes out to all of you sailing with my father in the coming days. Give them hell and let's break this siege. I love you all.
We're gonna miss you so much, Cito. I love you, Cito. See you soon, Cito.
I will pop the handle beneath this upload once it's uploaded. He did pop it up on screen there at one point, but I can't see it on the. I don't. But I will pop up the link to his father's Instagram account. That's particularly emotional because I think for anyone who follows the channel, I was talking 3 or 4 days ago about the palpable disbelief in terms of my father-in-law, who's Jordanian, Nadia's father. Whenever you see him, or whenever over the last 2 years, the palpable shock and disbelief that he demonstrates with each new atrocity or horrific gyration or movement or decision or realization or action. The heartache, the disbelief, the stunned kind of disbelief. I see what's happening in him. I see a brokenheartedness in him with the West, with this country that he so loves and loved and came to. And so when I hear him talking, Mohammed, like that about his father, and you think that the problem these Israeli Zionist monsters have with the vast majority of these people is that the Zionist monsters could in no way ever imagine having as big a heart as someone like my father-in-law or Mohammed's father. There was an element of huge, and Teddy, my father-in-law, talked about this. He said, when that Nakba happened, when those first refugees arrived, Jewish refugees came into the region, he said there was an open-hearted, open-handed trust from many Arabs, not all, there's always going to be some, but he said that the vast majority of Arab people in the Middle East felt for those original settlers, felt for those people who were shipped into the Middle East. They threw open their doors, they threw open their homes. And so when you understand that sensibility, that generosity of spirit, and then you look at the monstrosity of this Holocaust, this genocide, this atrocity, when I see Teddy, I see in Teddy a broken heart. And he's 92, he's 93. I know he can't quite believe this has happened. So I think a lot of the DNA of what Teddy feels is in Mohammed's father heading off on this flotilla. And going back to my obvious concerns and fears and worries for the size of the flotilla, I think it's in the region of 12 to 14 boats. Is that right? Again, he potentially could be a real target for those amoral, immoral, non-moral IDF soldiers that will, in the end, undoubtedly intercept. So he's right. We need to publicize. We need to advocate. We need to amplify everywhere. Just stepping away from the emotion of that for a moment, which is hard. I just want to step towards a guy who's been vilified, destroyed, his label ditched him, the BBC dumped him, he was considered more evil than Netanyahu. Bob Villan.
on people around the world to organize this and deliver the humanitarian aid. Why? That's a failing of the British government, right? And governments around the world. Why is it on the people to do what the government should have been doing? Why is it on the people to shut down weapons factories operating on British soil? You know, that is something that the British government should be doing and should have done a long time ago. We know that those factories are contributing to the genocide and the slaughter of Palestinian people in the tens of thousands. Why is it on the people to shut those places down? The British government is not doing enough. It is that it is doing nothing, and that is a stain on, yet another stain on the history of Britain and the history of British politics.
Colonialism, yet again, it's once again, isn't it? The bear trap that Israel, America, and Lammy, and Starmer, and Jenrick, and Badenoch, and Farage, and all of them, and Trump, the bear traps they set is they do the most unspeakable things, or they sanction and appease and allow and support the most unspeakable things to happen to a people. And then they have the audacity to turn round to those people if they have a response or a reaction that in any way contains a scintilla of emotion, and at the point that you show that emotion, they clamp you down. That's why this peace flotilla is so important. That's why going in peace. That's why when the last two boats were intercepted and they would all sit with their hands on their laps and not resist at all, it is impeccable. Even when you're impeccable, these fuckers still try and get you. They are looking for the slightest modulation, left or right. I know sometimes I use expletives. Nadia doesn't like it so much. But sometimes you've got to call them for what they are. They're fucking monsters. They are fucking monsters. And there's no other way of skinning this one. They're monsters. And thank God, I know if I was on that flotilla ship and they came on, I could not sit with my hands on my laps. Oh, no way. No way. I don't know who this chap is, but he sums up everything. He's brilliant. His energy is good. And this is what we're going to end with. Check this out.
It is an absolute failure. It is a failure of governments around the world. It is a failure of institutions like the United Nations. It is a failure that nobody respected international law, that now citizens have to board yachts, old fishing vessels, and head to the most dangerous place on earth. It is a failure of humanity. But yet we see people from 44 plus countries come together for this cause. We see thousands of people across Spain supporting this movement. And we will make it. We will make it to Gaza. We have food, we have water, we have medicine. We're coming, Gaza.
I want what he's on. He's my man. We are going to keep publicizing, promoting, and talking about this. We have to make this as awkward and as painful and as difficult as possible for all of our politicians as we can. Forget reform. Forget the fucking the Conservatives. They don't care. They never have. Though, on that, I never thought I'd say Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher actually enacted an arms embargo back in the day. Fucking hell. Even Margaret Thatcher had more of a humanitarian instinct than Keir Starmer, the kid starver, the genocide charmer. Keep sharing. Subscribe. I'm going to pop directly under this straight afterwards Mo Hamza's father's account and many other accounts that you should follow. Keep spreading the word. Hit the notification bell, and whenever you'll be notified whenever we go live on this and other matters too. Thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for. I hope you got what I got and we got from that footage, which is proof that there are thousands of people behind this. Thousands of people. Don't let the mainstream media pretend it's a kind of marginal fringe thing. Don't let them do that. You have the power to not let them do that. All right, guys. Have a safe evening, and I'll see you on the morrow for Coffee Moaning. Thanks, guys. Bye.